Yeah, I guess Jesse, I think, are we leading off with the offensive coordinator, Nick Crozier, played by Aaron Eckhart. Again, going into this movie, did a couple of episodes on TV, a couple smaller movies, nothing really big. Obviously, since then, he's gone on to do the Batman movies and all kinds of stuff. But when I was thinking of him, I was thinking like a 35-ish kind of role, the young offensive coordinator who's up and coming, who, you know, is going to eventually take over for Al Pacino. And Jesse's the one that threw this name out there. Again, I'll let him take it from here, and his reasoning as well.
Well, I just got to say, I love the alley-oops that we've got going on here. This is great teamwork, great chemistry. But as far as the name that I saw, I mean, this name was on his list, but as soon as I saw it, I go, oh, I love it. Got to go with it. And it's Jason Sudeikis. I've seen him in a lot of comedic roles, Horrible Bosses, and SNL, of course. But most recently, he is Ted Lasso in the Apple TV show where, you know, he was a football coach, then gets transferred across the pond to then go ahead and be a soccer or football coach, so or manager. So I think it's something that show is something that I haven't fully seen yet, but I've heard wonderful things about it. And so with that name, I said, Wayne, this is the guy I really think should be, you know, the offensive coordinator and the up and coming head coach.
That's a nice one. Did he come up in our? I'm sure Dave. His name came up on for some role or other we were looking at, didn't he?
We did talk about it. Like Ted Lasso is something we've got slightly differing opinions on. I wouldn't say James hates it or anything, but
no, it's all right.
I think Jason Sudeikis is brilliant in that. Personally, I think the show itself is good, but he is really.
Oh yeah, we both really like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he lives in the nicest part of London that definitely doesn't exist.
It's unreal. Like the version of London in that show is unreal. It's like it's like he lives in like the Harry Potter theme park or something like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah. But
it's just a platform 9 3/4.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that show. I can definitely see Sudeikis in that. I think this is a role, like, I completely agree with everything you guys said, really, about the casting. And I couldn't really come up with anyone. James came up with this name and convinced me on it, actually, with a movie that you guys talked about recently, which was Tenet. Because I just thought they put a great performance in Tenet. So, James, who did we go for?
We went for Edward Cullen himself, Robert Pattinson of Twilight and Harry Potter and the Batman fame. And recently Tenet. I mean, I thought he was great in Tenet, and I think he was both of our favorite things about the film, actually, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's probably a little bit I guess maybe 10 years younger than Jason Sudeikis, something like that. So he would be on the younger end of the spectrum for it. But we just wanted someone sort of who had like a totally different, less grizzled look from like Nick Cage or even Bryan Cranston, you know, who's like been in the game a long time. We wanted someone who could look a bit sort of smooth and slick, and you know, like they might be full of completely different ideas to someone who's been in the game for a long time. So yeah, we landed on Robert Pattinson.
We were also trying to shoehorn as many Brits in as possible. So
Brits and superheroes and people from Friday Night Lights. Those were our three main contenders, really, weren't they? Our criteria.
Yeah, I love Robert Pattinson. Sometimes. And I'm actually going to tell so when Jesse and I first started doing this, we talked about different casting choices and whatnot. And I remember way in our early shows, like our first show, our second show, we were talking about Will Smith playing the genie in Aladdin, right? And there were a lot of people who didn't really like the choice because, you know, it's hard to follow Robin Williams.
Impossible.
So good. But I said, you know, I loved this casting because I said, he's not going to try to be Robin Williams. He's just going to be Will Smith. And Will Smith is exactly what the genie is. He's big. He's boisterous. He's, you know, fun, you know, and I thought the casting was great. I said, he's going to do a great job. I thought he did do a great job. And then doubling down on it was when Jesse was talking about Robert Pattinson being cast as the next Batman. I said, I love it. I absolutely love Robert Pattinson as Batman. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that.
With it. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that.
Such a great resume.
Oh, go ahead, Jesse. I really like the choice for the character as well. But what did you want to say?
I was just gonna say I love his resume. I think people really try and pigeonhole him as, or only remember him as, you know, the glittery, you know, vampire from Twilight, or you know, maybe his role in the Harry Potter movies. But he's really done a lot since then, and I think that, great casting for you guys, and I also, will share my excitement for him as the new Batman. Initially, I was very skeptical, though.
Yeah, he just seems a little bit young, doesn't he? And he's not exactly. He doesn't look physically like imposing. But once you've seen that, even that first trailer, it's like, yeah, okay, definitely, it's going to be good.